Imagine getting executed for breaking a vase. Or being banned from crying at a funeral. Or having your beard regulated by the government. These aren't dystopian movie plots. These are real laws from human history. Today, we're diving into ancient rules so bizarre, so extreme, and so wildly specific, they'll make you wonder how civilization survived itself. Welcome to the strange, unsettling, and sometimes hilarious world of ancient laws. Let's begin. 1. The Babylonian eye for an eye. In ancient Babylon, around 1754 BCE, King Hammurabi created one of the earliest written law codes in history. Sounds progressive, right? Well, buckle up. The Code of Hammurabi included the famous principle, an eye for an eye, but it didn't stop there. If a builder constructed a house and it collapsed, killing the owner, the builder would be executed. If it killed the owner's son, the builder's son would be executed. Yes. Punishment by proxy. Justice wasn't just about accountability. It was about retaliation, sometimes against someone who didn't even commit the crime. Was it harsh? Absolutely. But to them, it created order in a chaotic world. Still, imagine losing your life because your dad made a construction error. 2. Ancient Egypt. Don't cry too loud. In ancient Egypt, mourning was serious business. Professional mourners were often hired to cry at funerals, loudly and dramatically. But excessive grief could be punished. Why? Because public hysteria was believed to disturb spiritual balance and social order. Too much crying could imply the gods were unjust, and that was dangerous thinking. Imagine being fined for grieving too dramatically. Ancient societies valued emotional control, sometimes to extreme levels. 3. Rome. Don't even think about that purple in the mighty Roman Empire. Clothing wasn't just fashion. It was law. Purple dye, especially Tyrian purple, was reserved exclusively for emperors and high-ranking elites. If you were caught wearing it without permission, you could be executed. Yes. For a color. The dye was rare and expensive, extracted from thousands of sea snails. It symbolized divine authority. Wearing it without status wasn't just tacky. It was treason. Today we argue about dress codes at restaurants. Back then, wrong outfit. Death penalty. 4. Ancient Greece. Ostracized for popularity. In Athens, democracy had a fascinating feature called ostracism. Once a year, citizens could vote to exile someone for 10 years. Not for committing a crime, but for being too powerful, too influential, too popular. If 6,000 votes were cast against you on broken pottery shards called ostraca, you were banished. No trial. No appeal. Just pack your bags. It was meant to prevent tyranny. But imagine being exiled because people liked you too much. Cancel culture. Ancient Greeks did it first. 5. Medieval England. Trial by ordeal. In medieval England, justice sometimes involved boiling water. If you were accused of a crime, you might have to plunge your hand into boiling water to retrieve a stone. If your wounds healed cleanly after 3 days, God had declared you innocent. If they festered, guilty. There were other versions: walking over hot iron, being tied up and thrown into water, float, guilty, sink, innocent. Hopefully someone pulls you out. Justice by divine burn test. Humanity's logic has come a long way. We hope. 6. Ancient China. Collective punishment in some dynasties of China. If you committed treason, your entire family could be executed. Sometimes extended family. Sometimes entire clans. The philosophy was simple. Loyalty to the state outweighed individual rights. If one person betrayed the emperor, their bloodline paid the price. Imagine the pressure of knowing one mistake could wipe out generations. Law as deterrence through fear. Effective? Possibly. Merciful? Not exactly. 7. The Aztecs. Drunkenness was a crime in the Aztec Empire. Getting drunk wasn't just frowned upon. It could be punishable by death. Young people caught intoxicated could be executed. Why so strict? The Aztecs believed discipline maintained cosmic balance. Alcohol, especially pulp, was restricted mainly to elders and priests. Party too hard? That might be your last party. 8. Japan. No suicide. Unless you're samurai in feudal Japan, suicide was illegal for commoners. But for samurai, ritual suicide, seppuku, was considered honorable. So depending on your social class, the same act could be a crime, or an act of glory. Law wasn't universal. It was hierarchical. Justice wasn't blind. It checked your status first. 9. Ancient India. Caste-based punishments in parts of ancient India, punishments varied depending on caste. The same crime could result in a fine for a higher caste, mutilation or death for a lower caste. Law reinforced social hierarchy. Equality under the law. That's a modern invention. 10. The Viking thing. Legal duels among Norse societies. Disputes could be settled by holmgang, a formal duel. You didn't argue in court. You fought. Winner was right. Loser was wrong. Possibly dead. Justice through combat. Because what says fairness more than a sword? Before we laugh too hard, remember, ancient societies faced chaos, invasion, famine, and fragile political systems. Harsh laws were tools of survival. Public fear created public order. Many of these laws weren't about cruelty. They were about control. And in unstable times, control was everything. Here's the unsettling part. What laws do we follow today that future generations will look at and say, they did what? History isn't just a record of absurdity. It's a mirror. And sometimes that mirror is uncomfortable. Humanity's past wasn't always enlightened. But it was creative. From purple bans to boiling water trials, from exile by popularity to drunken death penalties, ancient law was brutal, bizarre, and deeply revealing. If this video made you question humanity's past, wait until you see what we're doing now. Like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, which ancient law shocked you the most? And if you lived back then, would you survive? See you in the next deep dive.